Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the American Society of Dowsers. We've got a great event scheduled for you tonight. Alicja Aratyn is a chemist and has a master's in environmental engineering. She's also a reverend and carries a doctorate of metaphysics. Her engineering background and interest in esotericism from an early age made her understand today's holistic healing. As a gifted healer, she sees the energy and can remove disturbances from past lives, harmful energy forms, etc., which helps people worldwide bring positive changes and desired effects. Alicya's teachings turn scientific knowledge into a delightful and practical application in everyday life. To her, dowsing can help improve your health, quality of life performance, relationship status, and prosperity caliber. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and open the lines. Alicja, welcome. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Martin. Thank everyone who came today and who will probably come later to the ESD website. We will talk today about the healing, and I understand that we have about 45 minutes for me to talk, so I will do my best to talk fast, not too fast, but somehow. And then you will have a time to practice. And as Marty said, you unfortunately are all muted until the end of the presentation, because our own experience, and yours for sure as well, proves that sometimes the questions are answered anyway in the later part of the lecture. So let's hold them on until the end. You can also put your question in chat room, so we will look at that later. All right, but we will also unmute you so you can, we can talk. Today we will talk about healing, the true face on healing. Some of you, like Margaret or Christopher, you probably will, for you it will be repetition or combination of many lectures which we had on the scientific dowsing group. If any one of you would like to join us, just send me an email through the contact us on our website, because it's private group, so it's not visible anywhere else. We just don't want very beginners to come to the group and ask very, very basic questions. So not that we are very, nosy about stuff, but we spend some time on learning scientific dowsing, and therefore it would be great to grow further. I will now share the screen with you, and we will start this presentation. And then later on, after I finish, we will talk. Okay, true face of healing. I will use my iPad as I normally do as my remote controls. It will be easier for all of us to talk about things, and you to see as I can work on the screen through this remote control. So let's start with the famous, I hope all of you know this man, the father of science fiction books, Robert Heinlein, who said everything is theoretically impossible until it is done. And very often we really have and see the real application of this sentence in our everyday life, especially. Sorry, I have to. have to get rid of this one thing here, and we'll come back. I do apologize. And we'll, because we have to have build some common ground, since I know only some of you, so I don't know where you are with your dowsing and how much you are interested in it and what field of dowsing is of interest to you. Then let's say this, after Arthur Schopenhauer, that all truth passes through 3 stages. First stage is that it's ridiculed. Second stage, it is about violently opposing the concept, and only the third one is about it being accepted as being self-evident. Everything what we will go through today during the lecture and what we are going through in our everyday life today is a confirmation of that. And the last one, that science is not only a disciple of reason, but also one of romance and passion. Remember this, because people say, oh, you know, science, I'm far from science, I'm not interested, and this is too much for me. No, it's not. If you will break down to interesting facts and nicely kind of put it together so we all will understand, then it really is, or it may become a passion for you to see both sides of the coin, scientific and metaphysics or metaphysical. I love that, and that became my kind of calling in life. So for years I studied in my life, of course, many different modalities of healing, but for the last 7 years, I guess, I am very interested and study in Europe and here the part which is of science and medicine, which is called New Medicine, which means Germanic New Medicine. And it says that in our life, it looks like this. We live normally in vagotonia, in normotonia, which means there is day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night. And life seems to be wonderful until one moment when something struck us and trauma takes place. And then we start to be sick. That has to have effect on our body. Trauma is something what happens unexpected. It's kind of when you do, that's unexpected. You feel alone, separated, and not that you are really on the desert being completely alone, but nobody understands you. At least you think and you pursue it the way that, oh, I'm so alone, nobody understands me. And in fact, nobody understands you because nobody goes through any trauma the same way. There is no two people who go exactly the same way through any trauma. And so it's unexpected, you feel isolated, and it's traumatic. For example, losing someone in a car accident unexpectedly, and so on. So this type of thing. Of course, we have in our body on everyday basis very many programs. It is called significant biological program of nature. And we have many of those programs running in our body at the same time. But in the moment when trauma hits our body, we become sick.
However, we don't feel that because we have problem to solve. So our body does not allow us to feel anything because we have to be alerted, we have to solve the problem. Therefore, in this time, we have lower temperature, loss of appetite, cold extremities, higher blood pressure, and so on. It's all because we need to have energy to take action, to solve the problem. This, what is here in marked in Greek color, it is a conflict mass. So the problem in life is to solve the conflicts, our conflicts, as soon as possible. Because bigger the conflict mass, bigger the healing time, longer the healing time. So therefore, if we would cut it up here, because we know what is going on in our body or with our body, and we can solve the problem, then we will have also shorter and less intense healing time. But this way or the other, there is a conflict built because of this trauma which happened to us. And then we come to the terms with it, let's say, or we solve the problem, and that is called conflictosis. And we come to this point when everything is solved. Now the true healing starts. Unfortunately, this true healing takes such form that we think, we are programmed, we are used to think that, oh, I am sick, because then we have increased temperature, increased appetite, warm extremities or very warm extremities, and low blood pressure. Why? Because nature wants us to lie down, rest, and heal. Not run around like crazy, not go to the office, not send children to the school with the antibiotic in the packet, but to lie down and rest. So what happens next is that in the center of this healing phase here, there is a healing crisis, which means epileptic crisis, which is very short, but very extremely intense return of this conflict. It's like your body after phase one wants you to say, do you remember how you felt? Don't do it again. Now you know how it was. Let's heal further, finish healing, and we will come back to normotonia. The time when you are sick in new medicine is called sympathikotonia, and vagotonia when you are healing. In epicrisis, many things can happen. For example, all heart attacks in any form can happen only here because it's short but very, very intense. Here, your sickness is kind of dragged over time. In the crisis, it is very fast and very intense. Unfortunately, many people, especially when we talk about heart, cannot stand it. Then you have a choice. You will react to everything that happens to your life, especially those things which are very harming to you, with anger or fear. But you can also appreciate what you are going through and loving it. I know it sounds silly, but let's look at it in a moment and you will understand. The choice is always yours. Nature or other people will not decide for you how you will react to it. Let's look for, just because English is my second language, so very often I just simply go to dictionaries and I check true meaning of the word. So what anger is by Cambridge Dictionary? It is a strong feeling that makes you want to hurt someone or be unpleasant to someone because of something unfair or unkind that has happened. What is fear? By the same dictionary, it is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or she is a threat. So our body will react with fear or anger to everything what happens to us. And therefore, every crisis takes place on 3 levels. First is a feeling, emotion, which creates intrusive thoughts, like you cannot stop thinking about it, about something what happened. In split second, even before you realize what the emotion is ruling your life right now, you will, your body or nature will send the information to the brain relay, which is specific spot in your brain, and we will not talk about specific parts of the brain and embryonic layers of the brain and so on right now, because it can become very medical. But basically, those are the area in our brain which corresponds to specific emotion, and therefore it will also correspond to inner organ. So if so the relay will send the information to organ which is connected with this kind of feeling or emotion, and this relay in your brain that something happened, and therefore reaction will be in organ. So when I work with my clients, I never start with with healing organ. I always want to know what happened to you, and what happened before that, and what happened before that, and what happened before that, about emotion which you go through, so we can find out when the original trauma took place. Because the difference between the person who will have repetition of certain or relapse of certain sicknesses or not, is that the person who does not have relapses first found the first with some on her own or with help of a therapist, the original trauma which created this, and the person with relapses never did. So therefore, every similar situation will unconsciously bring this person to the original trauma. For example, when the person was 5 years old and she was, let's say, abused by her uncle, and therefore she will have identical reaction in the same inner organ. Or inner or not, of course, because it can be skin, it can be, muscles, and so on and so on. Okay, but for the simplicity of, we say that inner organ. So we can also say that every organ is energetically connected with a specific feeling and situation. And you can say, well, I know this, stop it, because, it's obvious. Well, of course, if you read the books, and the first one was Louise Hay with her book, You Can Heal Your Life. That was one of the, or probably first book which I read in English language when I came here, but in the light of what we know today, it's very simple take on, but it was humongous step in building people awareness that every organ is connected and collects the energy and goes through consequences of some events which happens in our life. We said that we sleep, that we heal during the sleeping. And if we will go to one of the first book by Aristotle, he said that sleep is the paralysis of first sense organ, preventing it from operating. And it occurs on the one hand of necessity, for it is not possible for the animal to exist should the condition that produce it are not obtained. And on the other hand, for the preservation of the animal. And it is very important that I mention here animals, because all our behavior is based on ethology, which is the science of animals' behavior. It's very interesting because our life, human life, is very similar to wolves. So I was talking in our club, we had actually one session devoted to the sleeping disorder, and I was proving to show people that I was showing actually that there is no such thing as insomnia according to today's medicine. So two things can happen to us. Main thing, that first we are waking up around 3 to 4 a.m. and we are calling it constant day. For you, it is as a constant day, and it is a conflict active phase, sympathicatonia. During this time, your system says to you, do not lose time for sleeping. We have problems to solve. So during this conflict active phase, after you will rest a little, after falling asleep, you will wake up at 3 o'clock, because in nature, the change of the phase from day to night begins at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock during the summer. Okay, so that's why 3 o'clock. So if we are in this phase, then we'll wake up very early at the morning, and we will think about, again, those are those intrusive thoughts. Why we cannot, what happened to me? Why she did say this to me? Why didn't I say anything? What should I say? What did I say? Why didn't I say it as it is? And so on and so on, okay? And that also allows your brain not to give you the answer, but checking all your levels from alpha, actually beta, but let's say alpha as the first letter of Greek alphabet, up to gamma, all the frequencies of your brain and all the layers, embryonic layers of your brain, to find out where the problem is. Where are the roots of the problem I'm thinking about right now? And you need to be aware, so all your brain will work and will be active. Now, it's a different story when you have a problem with falling asleep. Because if you cannot fall asleep, mostly you cannot fall asleep until 3 o'clock, or roughly 3 o'clock, or you will fall asleep at 1 o'clock, and then you will sleep half an hour, and then you will wake up and you will not sleep, and around 3 or 4 o'clock you will fall asleep, and then when you have to get up to work, you say, oh my goodness, I didn't sleep all day, all night, and I'm just tired. So for you, it is as a constant night, and it's healing phase, which means vagotonia. But it is also a symptom of very intense vagotonia. And you are, during this time, you are tired and vigilant at the same time. That is so tiring. That is more tiring than normal kind of a stage when you are physically tired because you were shoveling snow on very long driveway or something like this. So intensity of vagotonia, which is actually here, this A and B, those two healing stages with healing crisis in the middle. So intensity of it depends on intensity of sympathicotonia, which means this, and we were talking about it, that bigger conflict mass, longer the healing phase. Normally they are identical, which means if not treated, which means talked about, understood, and so on, then if that is 9 months, that will be altogether 9 months as well, or very close to it. Right? Of course, in the meantime, there will be many other things happening in our body, which we will be busy with, and it can happen that everything together will kind of tied up with each other and bring us even more problems. So please remember, animal hunt after sunset, during the night, and at dawn phase. Because as I said, we really are living our life as roughly the same way as animals do. Healing phase includes also all range of repair programs running in our system. As I said, at one time, we don't have a luxury to have just one conflict to solve, because at the same time we have an anger problem because we are angry about something. And then there is a territorial conflict because someone, you know, I don't know, trespassing constantly, and so on and so on. So very, very rarely, practically almost never, we have only one problem to solve. That's why we all need to isolate certain problems. So we will work on one only. And in nature, as we said, weakens us to make us inactive, so we will have more energy directed to regeneration of the whole system, because this weakness and vigilance at the same time keeps us awake. Now let's think about it. What does it mean to be healthy from the physics point of view? What does that mean to be healthy, and what does that mean to be sick? So a person produces an energy of 30 to 100 millivolt. And a person with serious health issue produces an energy of 3 to 9 millivolts, which means at least 10 times less than average person. Why it is important? It is important because, as we will talk later, because all these blockages which we have in our body, in order to be pushed, there has to be some power to push those blockages and remove them from our body. Now, if you are 10 times weaker than you were where you were healthy, then how can you find the strength to do this? And that's why, while we use a pendulum, a therapeutic pendulum, to assist us with this, it's easier for us to simply push this and bring our own health or energy level to between 30 to 100 millivolts. Now, people who are very active, like sportsmen, healers, can transmute up to 250 volts, not millivolts, but volts, which means 2,400 times more than average healthy person. That's why when we go to the healer who just simply use his hands to help us, then they will push, they will do this initial pushing of the energy through your body to ignite your own, charge your own batteries. So push the energy, push the blockages, and charge your own batteries. So now your self-healing ability grows, increases, and can go through your body, and you come back to this. That's why I say to my clients, I don't want you to come to me for, half of your life, because it means I cannot help you. You need to come a few times, stand on your own feet, and go further, and be on your own and manage your life, because it is your life. And I don't need to be responsible, and I don't want to be responsible. You need to be responsible for this life. Average electric potential difference between soles of your feet and top of your head is 300 to 350 volts, which means that with this humongous relay, the electric potential difference, you can push the blockages. And if you don't have that power, then you go, not now, if you work on the north of the country, if you are from United States, then of course not now because it's too cold, but that's why many of you and many of us in Europe, I guess, were taught when we were children to walk bare feet on the ground, run, play and so on with bare feet, because you needed to connect it with the Mother Earth and charge yourself with energy so you will stay healthy. In order to live, be healthy, be happy, and be able to procreate, you need a territory. You need your own space. Some children want to break free from parents in early age, and some are what we call late bloomers. But everyone wants to have his own place. Children manifest it through shutting their door and say, "Don't you dare. This is Tom's room," like my son said, and he said, "Knock before entering." All right, that was funny at that time, but but it shows that we dream, even if we are not living by ourselves. We need to have our own territory, our own place. And there are generally speaking, two types of territory, which is personal territory. And this is everything to belong to us. I'm sorry, that belongs to us right now, which means my clothes, my shoes, my jewelry, objects which belongs to me now. But there is also a bigger problem of general territory, which means my whole life. And it is outside of my now. This is my parents' house, my friends, my travels, my workplace, my boss, my teachers, my workers, my employees, and so on. But this is also your territory. Generally speaking, women are traditionally, and nature does not understand other way than natural way. So naturally, women are responsible for what is inside of the house. Children, food on the table, and things like this. All this, what feminists were fighting against. Male role in territory is to be outside, to be a hunter, to be a protector, to be a supplier. So man goes to fight, man goes to hunt, he brings everything home, gives it to the wife, and wife looks after everything what is inside, children, food, and all this. That's what nature does, and animal world have no problem with it. Humans have. Animals are not as long sick as we are. They are sick because they go to traumas as we do. So they get sick. They go lie down under the tree or in the bushes. They go through the trauma, they heal, and when they come out, they are healthy. Or if it's about territory, they will fight, they will either kill or scare away the invader, or they will be scared off and they will have to leave the territory. But for animals, the problems are solved right away, right on the spot. We are dragging our problems forever. I don't like this boss. He goes on my nerves. He's an idiot, and so on. But I have to go because I have to put the bread on my table. So I will pay with my health, with my territory. I will create anger in me and kind of nurture it for years, seeing this boss every day because I have to put a food on my table. Never, ever this type of thing happens in animal world. As I said, that's why we are so sick, and animals never go through such a sicknesses as we do for a longer time. So how much territory do we need? Because you are all silenced, so I will give you it may really amaze you how much territory nature give to animals or to all life forces. So squirrel needs 10 hectares, which means 25 acres for one squirrel. European badger have 75 to 740 acres. Hyena, almost 10,000 acres. Wolf, 86,500 acres. And wolves live normally in a family at least of 7. The perfect family, wolf family, is 7. And then guess how much humans have. Nobody knows, because you can tell me, oh, I have a house and my house is, let's say, I don't know, 3,000 square feet. Well, great, but how many people live there? And how many animals live there? You don't live alone, that this area is for you, it's not your territory, it's a shared territory. How many people says I have to go to, if I want to be alone, I have to go to the bathroom and close the door? Because everywhere else, someone is on my back constantly. Wolf needs 86,500 acres. No wonder we are sick. And if you don't have territory, you cannot progress. You cannot hunt, because you can only, you can only hunt on your own territory. If not, the other animal will scare you off and or kill you, and then the end of the story. All right, so everyone needs a territory, and that's why some people do not like you to come too close to them, because they want you to stay away of certain amount of feet or inches or whatever, because it's too close. You are just invading their territory. Territorial anger, and that's what you're supposed to have as a handout, shows on or creates a problem in pancreatic ducts, stomach, but only small curvature of the stomach, bile ducts, and gallbladder. Indigestible anger, which we very often say, I cannot stomach it, I have enough, I'm sick to my stomach. It's not only stomach, it's also liver, duodenum, small intestine, the whole piece, and greater curvature of your stomach. If you want to heal yourself, first very general thing is that you can ask yourself those questions. What can I say about my territory? What is my real role inside my territory? Who am I? Am I lover? Am I a woman of the house? Am I a slave to my husband or to my wife? And so on. What is my real role in this territory which I have? What is the hierarchy in my territory? Well, in your territory, there is, like animal has, very strict, according to nature, hierarchy, which means your children are not a mother to younger children. They are still children, yes, older, but they are not mothers. You don't give them the child because it's an accident and I don't want it. So there are very, very specific. If those hierarchies are threatened or broken, you will pay the price. I mean, the people who broke this hierarchy will pay with their hand. So who breaks territorial rules? Who is responsible for those? Don't put everything on someone else, because really you agreed to this, then you are one of the person who breaks the rules. So what can I do to correct it? And then very often people just make a wrong decision. it is not only wrong decision, but it's something which will influence your adrenal medulla. Right or left, it's a longer story because it depends of which hand is dominant in your life, and if you're a man or woman, and also if you are under PMS or andropause or before. But one thing which we can see for the last 2 years broken by decision of other people, not us, is prevent us from cuddling and stroking or caressing, which prolongs life. And then it influences pituitary gland, which releases a neuropeptide called oxytocin. And the oxytocin it activates, is getting activated by the intense touch. So it is responsible for calmness, relaxation, willingness to care and protect, and also for affection toward the cuddling, caressing people. That's why over the last 2 years, we have so many people on the edge or with severe, sometimes, depression and other sicknesses, just because they are so alone. So, so separated from others. And there is no one in a retirement home, for example, of your mothers or your grandmothers, to touch them, to hug them, which will prolong their life. We're talking about it, that there is a DHS, which happens here, which means trauma, and then we go into conflict, and in between there is sickness, and after that there is healing. How to find it is by finding the life cycles. And life cycle for the human, according to GNM, is to find, is to summarize the month number, which represents the month and the day of your birth. And that is one cycle. So for example, if I was born in March 20, then March is 3, day is 20, so my cycle is 23. Not like in numerology when you summarize all numbers and bring it to one digit. So it can be 39 and 41 and whatever, okay? Now, if you will mark your date of birth as a 0, and then 23, let's say, or whatever your cycle is, as a first cycle, the second cycle at 46, and then 69, and so on, then you will find the main moments of your life. Something happened. In most cases, something very important happens during this 1 year when I was 23 years old. All right? But what I would suggest is this, without, and that would be can be your homework if you wish. Write down your life, all the events which happened in your life according to your age. So for example, age of 5, I was abused by my uncle. 7, I was abused by my brother. 14, or from 5 to 9, let's say I was abused by but it started at 4. And then whatever, when I was 7, when I was young, that was 7 when we went to school. Okay, so I started to go to school. When I was 14, I finished the school. I went, 14, I went to high school, and so on and so on. As you will write this, more and more facts from your life will come. And then see what happened around your first cycle, second cycle, and so on. It can be that something will happen also in 1.5 cycle, which means 23 plus 11.5. Let's say it will be 34.5, 35. Maybe something happened at that time in my life or in your life. Sometimes you divide the cycle by 3 if you see that something happened when I was like 7 and then 14.5 or 14, 15 and then 23. So I would see that there are kind of 1/3 of cycles when something happened. Do this detective work, as I call it in our group. I say we had this program which was called Be Your Own Detective, or detective work, something like this, about being detective. Because everyone in Germanic New Medicine will tell you that it is a detective work to find out what happened. Now, you can choose one trauma, let's say abandonment. And as you will look at your life, you will see when it happened. When I was 14, for example, I was sent to high school to other city, and I didn't like it at all. And I felt like, doesn't matter how it was, I felt like my parents abandoned me. Okay, when I was 23, for example, I was, let's say, raped, and by my boyfriend. It's nothing like this happened in my life, but let's say. And then right after that, he left me. Okay, so I felt abandoned by him, and so on. So now look at your life as it goes and find out what it happened. Use your pendulum to clear those traumas. But find the first one, the original one. Maybe it was when I was 14 and that happens to me. Maybe it was when I was 5. And every time when something happened to me of this type, I felt like then when the uncle was abusing me, and then he would left me in the room like I'm nothing. Of course, there will be self-devaluation conflict right away going with it, but let's focus on one, which will be abandonment. Okay, clear everything, every stage on every stage of your life, every event. And then why do I say that we should use the therapeutic pendulums? Just because they are stronger. They will help you, because when you go into those very harmful moments, your potential difference drops down right away. You feel sick to your stomach. You feel like you want to throw up. You feel like crying, and so on and so on. So you are between 30 and 100 millivolts. Forget 250. You are between 0.3 and 1 or 0.1 of millivolt. Okay,
So you are very much down. When you use the pendulum, which is therapeutic pendulum, you join your energy with the energy of pendulum, and you can, even if it's dark secret and you don't want anyone to know, you still can do something about it because you have additional source of energy. So many of you knows those pendulums, but just maybe there are people who do not know. There are pendulums which radiate white light. You can find them on our website, and pendulum which radiates gold light. Gold, just to remind you, is a higher vibration than white light, and therefore it is easier for us to work to achieve our goals. Because, well, you know, there is, of course, many people who write very spiritual books, but one of the most known people, and I love all the books, so it's kind of older book, is Carlos Castaneda, and he said, we either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. If you choose to be someone who can manage your life and who wants to manage your life by yourself, then claim the responsibility for what happened to your life, take your pendulum, do your life story, identify the problem, use those handouts, clear those organs, those parts of your brain areas, and do something about it. And I swear to you that you can do it and you will be successful. And stronger you become and more healthier you become, you will believe more, you will do it faster, more often, and you will be more confident with everything what you do. So before we will close, I would like to give you a few concepts to ponder upon. I'm not what happened to me, I'm what I choose to become. And it's Carl Jung. Our life expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. Søren Kierkegaard, the scientist, philosopher, American philosopher. The greatest discovery of my generation is that human being can alter his life by altering his attitude of mind. And it means, if you want peace, stop fighting. If you want peace of mind, stop fighting with your thoughts. If you want to stop fighting with your thoughts, make sure live aware life, which means know what happens to you, know what emotion runs your life, heal the emotion, and simply take charge and feel responsible. And the last one, if you haven't forgive yourself something, how can you forgive others? And before we will start to work on it, I would like to have, I know I'm about 15 minutes too long with my presentation, but I wanted to let you know that because some people buy something right away, I would like to tell you that during this coming weekend, we will have 30th anniversary special, which means our website and our company is officially on the market for 30 years as per this weekend. So we offer 20% discount, and those are online orders only. So if you wish, and oh, I didn't give you the code. Code is, oh, I will contact Lisa and I will ask her to give you this, or I will check it when you will do the, when you will do your exercises. So because some of you does not have those, then let's do this. I will put this on your screen, and what I would like you to do is take your pendulum, find your wavelength, which I know, I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to find the wavelength by now, and then put your finger toward one thing. For example, pancreatic ducts, stomach, bile ducts, gallbladder. If you have your handout, you can put it on here and put your pendulum over this area here, and you say remove all traumas contained in this area. And when it's done, say now heal this relay relating to pancreatic duct, stomach, bile duct, gallbladder. And you can go with all of them when you finish in the same manner. And then in 5 minutes, I will change the slide for the other one, and you can do the same with those two, just to start with your healing, all right? In the meantime, as you are doing this, I will check the chat room and I will find out this this code, and will tell you the code. So here you have this
Alicia, I think you've muted yourself.
I muted myself because I wanted to find this code and I couldn't. So I had to call Christina and find out what it was. That's why I didn't want to interrupt people.
Okay, I was in panic mode there.
No, but I did unmute myself now. Now you have the second one. When you make a wrong decision, it does not mean that there must be a problem in your adrenal medulla, but it can be, so it's worth to check. All right, because there were only 2 points here, then let's finish this. And I just called Christina because I couldn't find it. And the coupon code, if you wish to use it over the weekend, is 30 years. Okay, everyone who is on our mailing list will get on Friday evening or late afternoon, will get the we'll get the letter about it. So don't worry about it. Okay, let me look into the chat and see what you said, because I have to check my email and sign up. Okay. Please hold your question. Okay. Where do we go get the handouts? Can you repeat? Remove all trauma and heal. I understand, Suzanne, that you are referring to what I said when I hold the pendulum over specific relay. Okay, I was going just whatever came to my mind. So something like this. Please remove, because you have to remove, in order to put something new, you have to remove the garbage from there. That's right. So I would say, please remove all traumas collected in this relay, R-E-L-A-Y, relay, and then when pendulum will stop, it should go in counterclockwise direction. And when it stops, you say, thank you. Now, I normally say supply with the frequency of gold. So supply this relay. And I would here say pancreatic ducts, stomach, small curvature of the stomach, bile ducts, and gallbladder with the frequency of gold or white light, depending on which pendulum, therapeutic pendulum you have, to the highest possible level for my highest good. Or my husband, my son, my daughter, you know. It's always better to use first and last name. Is it okay? Yeah? Did you
And there
get
was a question about a book.
Lisa will send you, okay, that was fascinating, thank you. Thank you. Is this offer applicable to a web page? I'm sorry, but I don't understand what you mean, Laura. Can you unmute yourself and tell me? In order, I understand that it's about this the special. You just have to go on our website, choose what you want, and then at the end, at the coupon code on checkout page, there is a room for coupon code, and you say, and you write there 30 years, and 20% is automatically deducted. That was the question, Laura, which you wanted to ask?
Yes, you answered www.intuitivedowsing.com. Thank you.
Intuitivedowsing.com. Yes, yes. But if you will write anywhere, you know, in any search engine, Alicja Aratyn, then my website will also come out. Probably my also my YouTube channel, but website will come up as well. Okay, order line. Thank you very much for Marty for putting my website and telephone number. Do you have a book on this topic? No, I have many videos on my YouTube channel. It's because English is my second language, it's easier for me to talk, because you can forgive me my, you know, my grammar or grammar mistakes, but I don't think so I will ever write a book, because you know, dowsing is such a broad topic. It is not modality like Reiki or Qigong or Tai Chi or whatever, that you can separate it and write about it. This is about the whole life. And you just really, I think that if, you know, my rule in life is this, that if you want to act like jackass, then shut up and do nothing. It's a lot better for those who will read this. Because if you want to say something, then say everything. And very often people say a little and they say, well, you know, come to my workshop, then you will know more. And the workshop is $1,000. So I don't like it. Either you talk about it or not. Talking about dowsing without going very, very deep into spirituality does not have sense, because it's not about swinging object. It's about the whole universe speaking to you through this small little object. Okay, and it's so humongous that I really prefer to talk about it. That's why my courses are like healing courses, 10 hours. And because you really cannot talk for shorter time about even basic healing. Okay, so do you, okay, thank you, Alicia and Marta. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia.
Alicia, you know, we promised to keep these at about an hour, and
I know.
and we've
Oh, I thought
and
that
we've
it
done
was
a
75
great
minutes.
job. There's just so much information, and I want to thank you so much for the presentation and everything you shared with us. And please, everybody, take advantage of that. Going to her website, intuitivedowsing.com, and get there this weekend and get your discount. That is amazing. And when you come to convention, she has a table there in the vendor area, and it is phenomenal.
I will probably do not have this year because I am not vaccinated and I'm not planning to be, and I don't want to go through the tests. Therefore, I will not cross the border unless things drastically change, which I hope they will, until June. For now on, I will have on Monday, which means after convention, course, but it will be virtual, and that's why it will be after convention on Monday morning, I guess. But normally, yes, for over 20 years, I am every year at ASD convention, and I love it. And if you can travel, go there by all means. It's worth every moment of it.
It absolutely is. It's great information, and we still have some openings for some vendors, and we have some openings in the healing center as well. But yeah, we've run 20 minutes over. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Please go to that website. There we go. Intuitivedowsing.com.
Yes. And if you will go on YouTube and write in the search Intuitive Dowsing, then you will find my channel. Other people, after some time, they started to use the same. So just look for me, and you can click on the channel and watch all the videos which I posted over the years. And of course, online courses, they will be on special as well this year. This year. Okay. Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank
you for joining us, everybody. Have a great week, and stay tuned, because the Dowsers have so many great things happening and so many new events, and we have these calls. It's just a phenomenal time to be a part of the American Society of Dowsers. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Suzanne, call me. I love you guys.